what is 45 feet long and currently traveling at 38 knots? Well, that's the Axopar 45 XC that I'm on board at the moment. We're just on the way to a bay and we're going to take you through this boat. This is the first XC in Australia, which is very exciting. If you're interested in the performance review, we've already done one out of Cannes. You can check that out on the YouTube page. But for today, we're blasting along at 38. It's a beautiful day in Pittwater, Australia. And let's take you through this beauty. The reason I decided to start the video out this way is we're going close to 40 knots, and the real difference you get between this XC and the Suntop and Crosstop that Axopar have available is it's almost silent. We're traveling at 40 knots and I can talk to my passengers. Marnie's behind the camera. This is the protection that you get on board this vessel. So this is your all-rounder, offshore, all-weather cabin adventure vessel. So just whilst we're still underway, to recap on that performance stats. So the 45s come exclusively with the 300s on board, Mercury V8s. It would be a challenge to find a boat that can perform like this boat, have a top speed of 46 plus knots with the same fuel burn efficiency. Like all Axopars, it's not a cruising speed they give you anymore, they give you a cruising range. And somewhere in the region of 25 up to about 30 knots, you hit a range where you're pretty much doing 50 litres per engine per hour, which is pretty impressive. And we keep harping on about it, but it is all down to the hull design, the hydrodynamics, the effort that Axopar have gone to over the last 10 years to make sure that their boat is the best through the water, not just performance. It's got to be comfortable, and they've pulled it off again on this 45 range. We're just approaching our mooring now, and then we'll go through the boat together. This boat does tight turns just like the 37. It's unbelievable. Miraculously, we're on a mooring in Towlers Bay in Pittwater, and I just thought, how would I want to set up if I had my family and friends on board on this mooring on this beautiful day? So what I will do is I'm going to open both the sunroofs. It's supposed to get to 30 degrees today. We want some air ventilation, and this is my social space. This is my indoor-outdoor social space. So I'm going to open the doors to the back area, business section up front, and this is my social. Both doors, sides. Now I didn't time that, but I think probably about a minute and I'm ready to enjoy this mooring. So like any walkthrough, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you from the stern to the bow this time, and just talk about the options on board, but also what else can be done. You can see this is the most versatile area of the boat, because you can option this up as you like from the factory. This is the aft bench. You can see you've got seating for probably 5 across the back. And then you have this big open space. Underneath here is this vast amount of storage. The central storage runs all the way back a further 6 or so feet into the cabin underneath. You can easily slide paddle boards in under there if you're not using your roof racks. But what you can also do on this boat is you can option up an aft cabin. Now the aft cabin, like that on the 37s, is access through the cabin, down some steps, to a very large, sort of king-size bed almost. With that option, you can also option a second toilet down below. The last remaining option you can get on board this vessel is the U-shaped seating, which is a nice mixture of both. It means you get the sun pad, but you also get an outside dining space. So if you had seats here and seats here, table in the middle, but you still have access to the storage underneath and ability to drop the table and make it a full sun pad for those nice days out on this mooring. Then also down to my right here, conveniently located, transom shower. This boat has a warm water system that runs off the lithium and a boarding ladder with high handles. Moving on, just as all Axopars, you have a huge amount of storage in these aft locker areas. Now Axopar have started utilising these spaces in more inventive ways to create more of a social scene on board the boat. So in our starboard side on this vessel, we have a wet bar with an electric grill on board as well. So to go through this wet bar quickly, nice deep fridge here. Easily stand up wine bottles in there, or you can put your food in here. Electric grill. Now the electric grill on this particular boat is run by a lithium system. This boat has 1,000 amp hours of lithium battery, so you're going to be running this for a good amount of time at a mooring or at anchorage. Just to the right of this is your sink, and it's a great place to prepare your food or clean up afterwards. So really great use of space. This simply closes, a latch holds it all secure. And the nice thing here is, temptation would have been to block off this whole bottom section underneath, but Axopar have utilised it. I think this is a great space to be putting all of your guests' shoes and small bags. Looking at the back of the coach house, if you will, Axopar is, on this boat particularly, has been about storage, storage, storage. So what you have in here, they put in this beautiful netting. Underneath there, you've got the recessed speakers. All of the speakers on this boat have been recessed, so it's not, there's no catching points as you move around this boat. It's all very clean. But items like this, I actually put a paddleboard handle up there the other day. You can put your wet towels, they'll dry out in the wind on your way home. It's a great place. And the same underneath here, there's a bit of a storage area down there. Great for your sun creams and your spare odds and ends. As with all Axopars as well, option of the rocket launcher fishing rod holders, depending on your activity. There's something for everyone. So I'm just going to point things out as I move around this boat. You have plenty of cup holders as you're moving around. The side rails, they're a really good height. You feel very secure to walk down the sides when your captain says it's okay, but at cruising speeds in the 30s. This is the big thing that's changed the social aspect of this vessel, is the side wings. Now, there's a temptation for a lot of boat builders these days to create a side wing that envelops the whole back of the boat, and that is great for social space. The reason Axopar doesn't do that is because this is still an adventure boat. This is a category B vessel. This is a vessel that will take you out in up to 4 meters swell offshore. And by doing a whole side wing, you lose some rigidity of the boat. You lose a bit of the structure, and it's not then an adventure boat. The way Axopar have done it has been very clever. This now creates an indoor-outdoor space. So you can be sitting, chatting, dining. You can walk straight through to the other side. It's just so open, the whole boat. Marnie was launching paddleboards off here the other day. It's a great place to dive, a great place to sit with your legs off. So if you want to be in the sun and be close to the adventure on the water, you can be, and the other people can be indoors. They can close the roof up and have the shade. So moving indoors, let's look at the back of this pilot house. I have moved this section forward, and it creates this beautiful walkway through the whole boat to either side wing and indoors. So we've got a beautiful seating area. Now I'm in full sun at the moment. If I wanted to, I can close this up and be in shade. There's a nice breeze coming through the side. But this is a great place to dine, in shade or in the sun. But like all things Axopar, they've made this very versatile. So the table can either fit this way, it twists 90 degrees and you can have it facing that way. This table also slides forwards and backwards with the indoor cook space, which is very clever. For actual dining, I'd say comfortably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people, probably 8, so there's not a lack of space on board. So just looking at some of the smaller features in this area that aren't as obvious on camera. So you've got these beautiful wooden inserts within the seating. Within each of them, you have 2 recessed cup holders. Just means when you get that little bit of swell on the mooring or at anchor, that your cups aren't going to go sliding around. This vessel also has little charging ports. You might have seen them on vehicles where you just place your phone there and it'll charge up for you. Underneath this seat section, which would be your access point for your aft cabin, we've got spare cushions and life jackets down there at the moment, but there's a huge amount of storage that runs sideways and under this section. Just looking at this corner here, and we have power points down here. Obviously this vessel has a lithium bank on board, and we have our aircon controls for the pilot house. So if we were too hot and we'd had enough sun for the day, we needed to cool down, shut both the roofs, close both the doors and turn that aircon on. The last bit not so obvious in this area is, again, talking about storage, they've used every space. So champagne glass storage in the top and bottom of this table pedestal. It's pretty ingenious actually. Moving forward, Even more storage below this seat to open up and make this area accessible. Simple button here, slide it back, lock in, and now we can be preparing some food or boil some water indoors. So in this wet bar section, the indoor wet bar, we've got a huge sink. Great place for, preparing food or clearing up afterwards. And we've got the electric hob, which is something you couldn't have both a grill and a hob on board an Axopar before this vessel. Either end of this wet bar, you've got a huge 65-litre fridge. Great for all your drinks aboard or one dedicated food, but you also have that fridge in your optioned up wet bar outside as well. The last things to point out in this area is this is a great spot to put your bin on board. And in this section under the driver and passenger seats, further storage, great place for your cutlery, plates, bowls, that sort of thing. So before I move on to the helm area and we talk a little bit about that, the last thing this is beautiful for is, when you're driving along, the party's happening up here, but you've got this leaning upholstery just here, and it's like being in a cinema really. You can watch everything unfolding in front of you as a passenger. You can have 3 in front and 3 stood behind very easily. Now you're probably sick of the word already, but more storage under the driver's seat on the starboard side and on the port side passenger seat. So now we're going to go through the helm area, and because I'm going into that area, I'm going to actually get it set up how I would when I was driving. Now there's a big bite to the sun today, so I need a bit of shade. We're going to close that off and open up the driver's side door. Now I can just have it there. If I'm driving along, that creates a nice little breeze through. Likewise the sunroof, I haven't closed it completely. But for today, we're going to open it up this way. It's actually crazy how quickly you can turn this boat into a different beast. I've said it before on videos, but it's something that the managing director of Axopar says is it's very easy to get to a complicated solution for something. It's very hard and it takes a lot of time to get to a simple solution. And that's what Axopar have done with this whole helm area. They made it very simple. Really, Axopar, a part of their mission statement is to make boating accessible for everyone. So a 45-foot boat can seem daunting, but it's very quick on the uptake when you start to learn about this boat, and you can be confident on it just a number of times. So talking about this simplicity, something that's carried over from the Brabus element of the company is this multifunction steering wheel. Now I've got my trim tabs at the top of my left thumb. I've got the bow thruster down the bottom of my left thumb, and I've got the stereo controls. There's nothing worse than when your kids have control of the stereo when you're trying to dock the boat. So having them here and having the mute button just there, it's very handy for a skipper. So let's talk about those simple things that have led to this being a very ergonomic dash. So my steering position is great for me. I've got perfect view out the windscreen. The wheel, which can be moved up and down slightly, is right in front of me. Without having to reach or lean, I've got the throttle controls on my right hand side. So that's everything that's most important to me when I'm driving and docking this vessel. And on my left hand side is the auxiliary. And what we mean by that is they're the items that you're not using all the time. You're not having to look down and press it when you're going along at 40 knots. These are the items like your bilge pumps, your navigation lights that you just need every now and then. So we do also have the joystick on this boat, and that is slightly forward. When you are using the joystick on this boat, it's actually a really lovely thing to do because I can be standing like this. I can see my midship cleat. I can take a look down and see the corner of my boat. I can peer over and see the other corner of my boat. And I have it all at my fingertips here. So this vessel has also been optioned up with 2 16-inch Simrad NSX screens and a 9-inch. So this is really handy for this boat that has the lithium side, so I can be looking at my lithium batteries down on here. I can see my engine outputs over here, and I can be looking at my navigation here. But aesthetically, although a lot of this is carried over from the 37 to the 45, they've done some really pretty things on this boat. This whole area here, the insets where the seats are, the tiny detailing here, create your own adventure. It's all just very cool. And like all Axopars, it has the sort of option of a few different ways to sit when you're driving the boat. This is my favourite position. If I need to be a bit higher, I'll even sit on the bolster, and you've got this beautiful little foothold. Or bolster down, fully seating. Now at the moment, this is a bit far for me, but I can easily just slide the seat forward a little bit, and then I'm right there with the wheel. When you go to your boat at the start of the day and you want to go out boating, how long does that take? Well, this morning, all I've done is taken two covers off at the front and a cover off at the back. I've taken the sunroof cover off, which you wouldn't leave it up during high peak season anyway. And I step on board, I turn all my battery switches on remotely down here, keys the ignition, trim the engines down, off I go. Really, this boat only takes a couple of minutes. You could be sat at home and be like, oh, the sun's out, it's a beautiful day, and let's go down, and you're boating within 20 minutes. It's brilliant. So we're just about to step down below, and when you're thinking about how the 45 steps up from the 37, this is a real big difference. This boat can be set up to do sort of longer passages offshore. Like if I had one in Sydney, I'd regularly be taking it down to Jervis Bay. And with this size of forward cabin, always included with the boat, you can do that with ease, and it's not a camp style feeling that you might get on some of the smaller boats like the 29. So stepping down 2 steps, and a full height cabin with full height toilet. Again, storage is a key word down here as well. Storage in this cupboard on the port side. That also has my main fuse switches in there. Storage across the tops here, storage underneath, and all the way around. And then you have this extra section on the starboard side with a sink on the top. And this at the moment is great storage space, but you could option to put something like a convection microwave down there. Now the way this is set up down below at the moment, it is as seating, and that would probably look best if we had the gull wings open. But to show you as a sleeping arrangement, you simply pull this section forwards, and a large double bed for 2 for a great weekend away. Now, if it is a beautiful evening, you can sleep with the gull wings open. That would be awesome. But if there is a bit of a dew point or a bit of rain on the way, then you close it up. There's a lot of ventilation. We have the aircon on this boat, but we also have this porthole here, which is just in the right position just to hit your head if you're sleeping this way around. So now I'm just going to open this up to the beautiful day we've got outside. 1 step here, 2nd step. I've got immediate breeze and it feels lighter, brighter in area. So now I'm sort of set up to make this a day social space with the gull wings open. So flipping it over, this would be the ideal spot to sit, read a book, get away from the kids playing at the back, splashing around in the water. Or alternatively, if you do have very little ones, it's a great place to put them down up the front. So down below here, for those weekends that we were talking about, the person down here does also have some say about what's going on the stereo, and we have speakers here on port and starboard and in the headlining above the bed. So lastly, we'll just show you the bathroom. That's full height inside. It's a wet room, so you have shower mounted on this wall just here. Tecmar toilets and sink, storage behind the mirrors and storage under the mirrors. So heading up to the bow now, showing just how well this indoor-outdoor gullwing system works, and closing them up. I want to spend the afternoon on the bow, so I'm going to set it up so I can do so. Beautiful sun lounging across the boat, and seating area looking forward. I think every time I've taken this boat on a test drive, there's at least 2 or 3 people that want to be up on the front experiencing the wind in their hair, and this is a great place to do it. You feel really enclosed, got the high side rails, and it's safe to do so at cruising speeds. And your skipper will tell you if it's not. And with the 45, you get the best of both worlds. You also, just under where Marnie is sitting, is a table that fits in between the anchor hatch cushion and this seating area, so you can dine up the front. So as well as being able to be in the sun, have the table up, or just be lounging up here, you can also put the Euro awning up. You'll see these 2 fittings here. Simply pop in 2 carbon fibre poles, 4 clips, and you've got shade up the bow. Last thing to take a look at on the 45 is the anchor locker. On this vessel, it's a retractable anchor. Simply fold the anchor out forwards, put put a pin in and drop it down. It's good for maneuvering in tighter marinas, or like the Europeans do it, they step off the bow. The last couple of things to talk about on this 45 is there are a lot of options that you can add or remove from this boat. Like all Axopars, they have the handhold the whole way around. That, along with the higher gunnel, creates a really safe environment when moving backwards and forwards on the boat. This beautiful recess here, you can put a solar panel on, and that will just give you some trickle charge into the 12-volt batteries. You can see on this boat we've optioned up the 3 roof racks. We had paddleboards on there the other day, and it's a great place to store all of your things that you don't want to be taking up deck space. This boat also has the Simrad radar. You can option up a spotlight and all the other small pieces that you could get on the 37s. So in the last week or so, I've been on board this boat a lot of times, so I've really got a chance to learn it, but also love it, to be honest. The Axopar 45 range with the sun top, the cross cabin, and the cross top really is the most versatile range in the fleet now. You can have fully open vessels with shade, you can have partially open vessels with more protection, or you can have fully protected vessels like this, which you can still open up with those huge double doors, huge sunroof. Axopar have really done something special here. This is a special boat, and we'd love you to come take a look. If you would like to see this vessel or any of the other boats in our range, please do get in contact with myself or any of the team at eYachts. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.